Morning manna, manna in the morning. Get your daily bread and let your soul be fed. Morning manna, manna in the morning. Time for the word of God. Start your day off right. Morning manna.
Now, insight is something totally different because look at verse number 11, Proverbs chapter 2, verse 11. It says, discretion shall preserve thee, and understanding shall keep thee. The insight is like looking through a microscope. There's a big difference between looking at a through a telescope and looking through a microscope. For now, you are finding out all of the intricate parts that play a role in what you have, what God has envisioned, given you the vision for. You have to know all of the intricate parts. There are a lot of people say, well, and I'll go there, I want to start a church. Okay, but you don't know the intricate parts of it. You know how to do church. You know how to have a church service. Okay, I got you. You know how to sing. You know how to read a scripture. You know how to pray a prayer. And you may be able to teach or preach. Got you. All right. I'm not knocking you. But let's just take it a step further. Now you're talking about operating a public facility. You're talking about being able to sustain this public place of worship. You have insurance that you need to be insured. Yes, you do. All right, because accidents do happen. It's not necessarily that anything people are trying to do it purposely, but accidents do happen. You have to know that, okay, if you don't have any tithing members and you have been anointed to preach the gospel to the poor, all right, how are you going to sustain that ministry? You have to know the intricate parts of it. Then you have to look at safety plans. Recently, we've had different shootings at churches. Good God, what is the safety plan? How are you going to protect children now that we have these liberal laws around? And now you're inviting certain individuals into your places of worship. We're not doing checks on everything, but how are you protecting your children as they're walking through the building? These are intricate parts. A lot of people can do church, okay, but do you know the intricate parts of it? There's a lot of people who want to be in relationships. All right, it's wonderful to have a relationship if you know the intricate parts of it. And maybe you're not built for that. Maybe that's just not you, and although you may desire it, do you know the intricate parts? How is this thing going to work? Okay, especially if you've been alone for a while, you've been single for a while, and you got into your own way of doing things, and now you're gonna bring somebody else into it, and they're gonna have their own way of doing things, and the two of y'all are just not gonna meet up. I guarantee you, if you don't take the microscope to it and see it. Insight is not just looking into the thing, but also looking into you. You have to look into you, okay, and say, okay, am I prepared? Am I ready to do it? Or if I'm not prepared, what do I need to do to prepare for certain things? What am I going to give up? What are the sacrifices I'm going to make? I've got to do. I need to put a microscope into my life, and I need to say to myself, self, am I really and truly ready for whatever I'm getting ready to get into? You may be talking about getting into a business in 2020. I'm not knocking you, all right, but have you put a microscope to the thing? Jesus taught us this way. He says, when a man goes to build a building, the first thing he does is he counts the cost, and you need to count the cost, because getting into business is not just being your own boss, making your own hours. You got to make your own money. You got to get a hustle about you, and you need to know the intricate parts of that, not only on the outside as it relates to your customers, but you as an individual, because it's going to take an excessive amount of time, a lot of sacrifice. How is it going to affect your relationship? How is it going to affect your family? How is it going to affect your finances if by chance you don't make that sale or you don't get that client? What are you going to do to supplement that income? What is your plan? What is your plan? And on top of that, are you cut in that grain? There are certain things, ladies and gentlemen, I may be perceived as good at, but I'm not good at it at all. Why? Because I can tell you that because I put a microscope to my life, and I have come to the conclusion, John, you're just not good at that. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with saying you're not good at that, but now that you have looked at this DNA, and you have actually seen, okay, in a microscope, what's going on in you. Okay, is this something you can change? Is this something you can correct? Is this something about your discipline? Is this something about your integrity? Is this something about your character? What is it about you that makes you tick? All right, nobody else can tell you but you. All right, and so and if you can use that kind of discretion, okay, putting a microscope onto your life, doing that introspective analysis, if you could just go ahead and get some insight, not just about what you're getting into, but also about you. All right, what makes you tick? What sets you off? Why do you act the way you act? Why, after a while, after one or two or three or four or 10 or 12 failed relationships, you need to stop blaming everybody else, because 9 times out of 10, it's something about you.
Morning Manna.